Hey guys, welcome to another video from Invictus Outdoors, and today I've got some new kit which has just come in. Now I've got here the Optimus clip-on windshield and also some stands for my burner. Now some of you may know from watching my videos I normally use a Trangia setup. However, recently I've been kind of thinking about going a little bit more ultralight, especially since I've been doing a little bit more solo type stuff. Now the Trangia with, its two pots and the fry pan and everything is an absolutely amazing setup when you're camping, say with your partner or somebody, and you can cook meals for two people. And moreover, you can actually cook really quite decent meals, especially with the gas converter. You can really cook some nice food. But when kind of doing the solo type stuff and only really needing a light setup, I've kind of thought about going back to my old Optimus Crux stove. Now, this is kind of my first stove, and I used it a fair bit when I first started out, but then I kind of went over to the Trangia and stuck with it from there, just because of the versatility, etc. But now kind of thinking a little bit more about going back to some ultralight stuff while I do my solos, just to be able to cover more distance, be out for a few more days, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, this is my current setup with my Optimus Crux stove, so pretty kind of standard. However, one of the biggest complaints I had about the Optimus Crux stove is that it's really exposed to the elements. So even though the stove is quite small, quite light, it's got a nice big wide burner head, which is fantastic. If there is a breeze going through or some wind, etc., then you're really going to lose a lot of efficiency from the stove. And this is somewhere where the Trangia really shined, because it comes with that windshield, and again, it was a lot more economical on fuel, in my opinion, in bad weather. So you could really cook with that thing, rain, hail, or shine, or really in the middle of a gale or storm without a problem. Whereas the Optimus, the way it was kind of set up, it really left it exposed to the elements, to the wind. So that was always kind of a bit of an issue for me. However, and also the reason I got the feet is the stability. So cooking on kind of not so steady ground. However, a couple of weeks ago when I started looking again at going a little bit more light and looking at using my Optimus, I kind of did a quick search and saw, to check out if there was anything new for the stove, and long and behold, they had the windshield. So let's take a look. This is pretty much the box, and I can tell you straight off the bat, it feels amazingly light, which is awesome. We'll open it up. And this is pretty much that. Now it weighs in at something like around 100 grams or what have you, so really it's not too heavy at all. And according to what I've seen, you pretty much just have to open it up and then you can pop it around the gas bottle. But yeah, have a look there at the shield itself. Definitely looks like some pretty good construction, and it definitely feels pretty solid. All the riveting and everything, it's done really well. I mean, Optimus being a Swedish company, I've never had a problem with the stove in terms of it feeling a bit shoddy or the bits not moving correctly or anything like that. Definitely the construction I've always found quite good. So let's pop that on there. And I guess that kind of sits like that, so that's not too bad. It should definitely provide a fair bit of protection from the wind. And now that sits on there, that also makes the pot a lot more steadier. Like straight away, the pot feels a lot better on that stove. I'll bring it in a little bit closer. Sorry, the lighting's not too good. But straight away, that starts to stabilize the pot a lot more too. Let's have a look at the legs. Now this is the packaging for the legs. Now I may kind of not use the legs, depending. They were pretty cheap, so I decided to buy them anyway. Might as well, since I was paying for the shipping. They pretty much weren't any extra, so I thought I'd get them anyway. But this is pretty much them, and I guess they kind of fold out like so. And then the whole thing let's take this off. Now the whole thing kind of sits in there like that, so that's really stable now. Wow, that makes a really big difference. So cool, not too bad. I'm definitely looking forward to taking out my stove again and using it, and I might do a burn test and see how long it takes to boil water. Now normally with this thing it takes 2 to 3 minutes, to go about 3 cups, so about 750 mils. So I wonder how much of a difference this thing will make in terms of retaining the heat and kind of accelerating the boil time. So I'll go ahead and do that quite shortly. In future videos, kind of what I plan to do is, and let me just backtrack a little bit. One of the cool things about this is when you pack up the stove, so chuck everything in there, this kind of fits right around the outside. So in terms of packing and, you know, portability, it doesn't really add anything. And in terms of weight, you're looking, like I said, about 100 or so grams, 130 grams or whatever it is. So if you're going to be saving, you know, they say about 20% on fuel, which is pretty high, then to be carrying extra 100 grams is well worth it in my opinion. And this kind of now adds the ability for me to cook in the high winds and what have you. So I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go test it out and see what it looks like, or how it performs rather. But just to let you know, I've also ordered a Toaks, I think, titanium cups. So you know, the Crux setup here, you've got 2 pieces, so you know, it kind of goes like that. I find this a little bit pointless. I carry a little mug, an insulated mug with a lid on it to pour my you know, a coffee in or whatever on the trail, or a tea. So I don't really use this as a cup like some people do, and I definitely don't use this as a saucepan. I don't know what the hell you're gonna cook in there. I just boil water in this. So instead of this, I'm going to go for that Toaks titanium 750 ml mug, whatever, pot, whatever it is you want to call it, and that's going to about half the weight with compared to this setup. So I'm going to have, instead of this, that mug, and then I'm going to have the windshield and then my burner. So we'll see what that looks like. In the meantime, let's go fire this this bad boy up with the windshield.